Hi, my name is Leanne Hadley, and I'm delighted that you're here. This is the summary of part one, week one of our book study. It's a Bible book study, and we're using this book, Brene Brown's Atlas of the Heart, as kind of the basis of our study, and then we're tying scripture into it. So in case you missed the first session, this is sort of the summary review of what we talked about. There is an overarching scripture that we're using this summer, and that is found in the book of Ecclesiastes. So listen to this scripture. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their toil. If they fall, one will lift up the other. But woe to one who is alone and falls and does not have another to help. And though one might prevail against another, 2 will withstand one. A threefold cord is not easily broken. This is the overreaching scripture for all of Christ Church this summer. We hope that this summer everybody who is part of Christ Church, whether in person or online, will find a way to connect with other people. I think at the heart, as I listen to people, the heart of what everybody is saying is that they're looking for connection. And that's why when I chose the book to do for the book study, I chose this book, Atlas of the Heart, because it says mapping meaningful connection. And that's what Brene Brown is all about. She's about helping us move from connection to meaningful connection. So if you listen to our scripture for this morning, or for today, whatever time you're watching this thing, it talks about a threefold cord or a twofold cord, that these are not easily broken. So a cord by itself, easily broken, but when you have someone else in your life, a person, a pet, it can be nature, it can be anything that you twist together with, that makes a deep connection, a deep relationship, a twofold cord, and that cannot be broken. Now, in the passage, it talks about a twofold cord, and then it talks about a threefold cord. For us, for Christians, you have yourself and the other twisted together, and then you add God into that cord, and that cord is unbreakable. However, in the scripture, it doesn't say that it's completely unbreakable. It says it is not quickly or easily broken. So we have to work at these relationships. We have to work at developing twisted together relationships with other people, deep connection, because that's what will sustain us, especially in times of crisis or pain, or even in the trying times that we're living in. So in our lives, we have lots of connections. You know, we have people that we know, the person that cuts our hair, our coworkers, maybe a friend, a Facebook friend, whatever. And then we have deep connections. So what we're looking for is to look at our own connections and to say, how can I deepen the connections? How can I connect more fully with other people and with God, so that I have a cord of support that is not easily broken, and so that I can be that for somebody else. So that's what we're going to talk about in this book study, and this is week one of the book study. So to start, this book is a beast, isn't it? It's a long book, and I love it. I first read this book, listened to this book on audible.com, and then I had to get the actual book, and thank you, Liz Matney, for buying this for me for my birthday. I had to get the real book because I want to underline and highlight every page of this book. So I don't know what we're going to do with this part of the book, this first part. I think maybe following this book study, we might decide that we want to meet monthly, or maybe use this as a daily devotion, because there's just so much in this book. But we are going to go clear to the end of this book, right here, to her grounded theory on cultivating meaningful connection, right there, a grounded theory on cultivating meaningful connection. So today we're going to find out the definition of meaningful connection, and then we're going to spend the rest of the time looking at what it takes to do that. So she says we have to develop grounded confidence, we have to practice the courage to walk alongside each other, and we have to practice story stewardship. If we do these three things, then we will be better equipped to cultivate meaningful connection and to provide meaningful connection to the people in our lives. So that's what we're going to spend the next few weeks on. I want to talk just a moment about her definition of a meaningful connection. Brene Brown says that connection is the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive sustenance and strength from the relationship. So there's really three parts to this. The first is it's an energy that connects people when they truly hear and value one another. So when I am present with you or you are present with me and we are really listening to each other, valuing what we say, being together, that is the first step in what she calls connection. So we've already connected. There's an energy. We've connected. And then she goes on to say, when they can give and receive without judgment. So if I'm connected to you and you are seeing me and you are hearing me and you are valuing me, or I am seeing you and hearing you and valuing you, but then I judge you, it breaks the connection. So it has to be safe space where you can truly become more and more authentic, knowing that the person who's with you is not going to judge you. So it's a non-judgmental space where people are heard, seen, and valued. And then the third part of this definition is, and when they derive sustenance and strength from the relationship. Now, she says when they derive. I think that if the first two parts happen, if you are really with a person and you are valuing them, hearing them, listening to them, and it is a shared conversation without judgment, then we do derive sustenance and strength from one another. So that is her definition of connection. Let me read it one more time. The energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive sustenance and strength from the relationship. So that is her definition of connection. Now, for our Bible story for today, there are lots of stories in the Bible where people connect. One of my favorite stories, and the one that I chose for us to kind of ponder today, is the one of the woman who goes to Jesus and anoints him. So this is found in, let me find it, Matthew 26, 6 through 13. This is when Jesus is anointed at Bethany. Now, when Jesus was at Bethany, at the house of Simon the leper, the first line, we already see connection in this scripture. Simon was a leper. In biblical times, Jesus was the only one that could heal leprosy. Sometimes you would heal from leprosy, but there was not medicine. There was not any kind of cure for leprosy. And in fact, once you got leprosy, you pretty much had to live outside of the community where you would die probably of leprosy. There were colonies of lepers that lived together and tried to, cooperatively live together and survive leprosy. Some of them did survive leprosy, but a lot of them died. But once you had leprosy, you were forever tainted. You were contagious. You were a threat to the society. And so you were kind of an outcast then for the rest of your life. Jesus, of course, would go to lepers and heal them. But even then, leprosy was just seen as just an unwanted thing. And rightly so, because if you got leprosy, you would have to leave the community. So the scripture begins, now when Jesus was at Bethany at the house of Simon the leper. So he's at Simon's house. He's already built community connection with somebody that other people don't like. So you see, Jesus was a master at building connection with people. That isn't our story, though. While he was there, a woman came up to him with an alabaster flask of very expensive ointment, and she poured it on his head as he reclined at the table. And when the disciples saw it, they were indignant, saying, "Why this waste? For this could have been sold for a large sum and given to the poor." But Jesus, aware of this, of their judgment, stopped them and said, "Why do you trouble this woman? For she has done a beautiful thing for me. For you will always have the poor with you, but you will not always have me." From here on out, everything that this woman has done will be told in memory of her. In this story, Jesus demonstrates beautifully the connection that Brene Brown is talking about. As he is so fully present with this woman, she is giving him a great gift, and he sees her, he values her, and he does not judge her. Even when the people around him judge her, he does not judge her, and in fact, he lifts her up. And in this moment, she is strengthened by Jesus, and he is strengthened by her. This story beautifully illustrates the definition of Brene Brown. So you've heard the story, now listen to the definition. Connection is the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued. There was a connection between Jesus and this woman as she felt seen, heard, and valued, and as he felt seen, heard, and valued, that she took that costly ointment and put it on his head. When they can give and receive without judgment, he did not judge her, she did not judge him, and when they derived sustenance and strength from the relationship, they were both strengthened. So the woman with the alabaster jar of ointment is a beautiful example of the connection that Brene Brown is talking about in this book. For a little reflection time, if you want to do reflection time, each time at the book study, we're going to take 5 minutes and just sit with something. What I invited everybody to do, and what I invite you to do, is to think about the connections in your life, all of the connections, people that you have known, people that you know. You can include pets if you'd like, all the connections in your life. And then I want you to put an asterisk or a star by the connections in your life that are deeper. So we have lots of connections. What are your deepest connections? What are your the connections where you truly feel seen and heard, where you receive strength because of that relationship, where you don't feel judged? What are those relationships? Make a list of all your relationships, put an asterisk towards these, and then I'd like you just to sit for a few moments and think, what makes that relationship so special? And do you have enough of those, or do you need more? So I invite you, if you'd like, to turn off the video right now, spend just a few minutes reflecting, and then come back for our closing moment together. All right, I hope that you did that, or maybe you didn't. You can do it later. Just think about it. What are your deepest connections, and why are they so deep? What makes those connections special in your life? Just think about it. All right, for our closing today, I just wanted to do a little grounding moment. So I want you to sit up tall, take a deep breath, breathe in and breathe out. There you go. And then I want you just to imagine yourself as one piece of a braided cord. You are the center. You are strong in and of yourself, so you are grounded. And then I want you to take one arm and reach it out and think of all the connections that you have with others and wrap that around you. And then take your other arm and reach it out and think about the love of God, which is also a strong connection for you. God sees you, hears you, and values you. God does not judge you. And you receive strength and sustenance from God. And I want to give yourself a big hug. Take a deep breath and breathe out. And there you have it. You're all caught up with the first part of our book study and Bible study on the book Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown. I hope that you've enjoyed this, and if you'd like to join us, please register by going to ccum.net, and you can find the book study on the website and come join us. Or you can just watch the videos for the next 4 weeks. Thank you for being here. I've enjoyed spending time with you.